School field trips are the days you live for as a child. It's the only time where you actually enjoy waking up early in the morning. And at my school, there was one specific field trip that stood out from the rest. Science camp. A whole week spent in mountain cabins with your friends and no parents. It was an absolute dream come true. Until we actually got there. Many years later, I still struggle to explain what happened in those woods that night, but this is how I remember it. So at my school, we had a field trip called Science Camp, which was basically described as the most life-changing experience you would ever go on. Like whenever students would come back from this trip, they'd talk about it as if they just took a school bus to Mars. That's how much they hyped it up. Like it sounded something straight out of the Magic School Bus TV show. And you know what's crazy? The Magic School Bus could literally be anywhere right now. Like it could be inside your body. That's not good. But anyways, I'd been hearing about this trip since I was in 2nd grade. I have two older brothers, and they returned from this trip talking about crazy stories they had there, staying up late with their friends, seeing wild animals in the distance, and doing science experiments where they made stuff explode in the woods. They described it as having a sleepover with your best friends for a week straight with no rules. Each year, I'd watch the students board that yellow bus with their oversized backpacks, just imagining when it would be my turn. So when the day came when my teacher announced the field trip and passed out permission slips, I nearly fell out of my chair. I forged my mom's signature right then and there because I was so excited to go. But if I knew what I know now about those woods, I wouldn't have been nearly as excited as I was. Because when the field trip was announced, my friend group all met up with each other. We'd been making strategic plans for this field trip since we were in 4th grade. Sleeping arrangements, snacks we were gonna bring for the campfires, video games. Me and my friend almost got into a fist fight over who would get the top bunk bed. We settled it when he threatened to tell the whole school about the time where I wet the bed when I was sleeping over at his house. So he got the top bunk. The morning of the trip, I woke up at 4:30 a.m. out of excitement. Explain that to me, by the way. I feel like a zombie trying to wake up at 7 a.m. on most days, but all of a sudden, I can wake up at 4:30 a.m. all full of jolly and glee? I don't get it. But I got to school at 8, and the parking lot resembled the baggage claim of an airport. Kids stood everywhere with giant suitcases and sleeping bags, looking like they were getting ready to climb Mount Everest. And the bus ride there was insanity. Because keep in mind, this was the week all of us had been looking forward to since we were in the womb. So we were bouncing in the seats, throwing stuff, and we only calmed down when our female teacher activated her male voice and said, "Hey, if y'all keep misbehaving, we're gonna turn this bus around." Don't know where she learned how to do that. But anyways, when we finally navigated that winding mountain road and spotted the camp entrance, I started to get butterflies. Beyond the camp entrance, nestled among massive trees, there was log cabins that stood straight out of a movie. It was just like I had been imagining in all the stories I heard about this place. Once the bus came to a stop, we sprinted off, grabbing our belongings and heading straight to the cabin. But then, things started to go wrong. Although we were under supervision of our teachers, it felt like there were no rules. But surprise, surprise, mixing no rules with dumb young kids is a recipe for disaster. Because let's fast forward to nighttime now. We're all laying down in our bunk beds when all of a sudden, we hear our counselor start to snore. So we knew he was sleeping, which meant we could do something on our own now. And that's when we made a decision that seemed brilliant at the time, but would later make me terrified of the wilderness for the rest of my life. My friend whispered from the bunk across mine, "Guys, we should totally do something." It was barely past midnight, and there was absolutely zero chance that any of us were sleeping yet. We just spent the whole day getting oriented, learning camp rules, and setting up our cabins. But now, the real freedom began. 6 dumb young kids with no parents around. What could go wrong? So one of my friends sat up and said, What if we play hide and seek? That is the dumbest thing ever. How are we gonna play hide and seek in a cabin with one room? Not in the cabin, dummy, in the woods." We were all immediately down to play, but we peeked over at our counselor and could tell that he was either in a super deep sleep or he wasn't alive anymore. But either way, he wasn't waking up anytime soon. So we all tiptoed our way outside the cabin. We slipped onto the porch, and that's when something hit me. The darkness in the mountains is not the same as back home. Because when you're in the city, there's always some light, even in the middle of the night. Street lamps, porch lights, buildings, there's always some light coming from somewhere. But here, it was just black, which would be a very important detail that would get us into trouble later. We all pulled out our flashlights, keeping the lights low so our counselors couldn't see us from the main building. There were 6 of us in total. And when deciding who should be it first, everyone pointed at me. I agreed because low-key, hide and seek can be boring unless you're the one doing the seeking. There's nothing worse than playing hide and seek with someone who sucks at finding people. But no worries, because I was a beast at this game. Or so I thought. So I closed my eyes and started counting. 1, 2, 3. I could hear their footsteps scattering, fading into the distance. By 30 seconds, all I heard was crickets. 59, 60. Ready or not, here I come. After opening my eyes, reality started to hit me. I was completely alone in the pitch black forest with nothing but my tiny flashlight's little beam. All of a sudden, I was kind of terrified. I thought about quitting right away and walking back to the cabin, but that would have meant my friends would be hiding in the wilderness all alone for who knows long. So I had to find them. I started walking slowly, trying to listen for any whispers or movement I could hear. I'd creep up to a bush, shine my light behind it, and find nothing. After about 10 minutes of searching, something felt off. Like I said, I'm a beast at this game. I should have found someone by now. So I started looking around trying to find areas that I haven't searched before, and then it hit me. I realized I couldn't see the light from our cabin anymore. What did that mean? I was lost. All the trees looked identical. I spun around slowly trying to find something familiar, but I couldn't. That first feeling of real panic hit my stomach like I just swallowed a piece of gum. So I said out loud, "Guys, game over. I quit." Expecting at least some of them to hear me and come out from their hiding spot, I got no response. I tried again. "Hello? Anyone?" I started walking in what I thought was the direction back to camp, but after a few minutes, I still couldn't see any sign of the cabins. All of a sudden, it was freezing cold and I was completely lost. After wandering around for what felt like forever, I slammed into something which made me scream. After a second of pure panic, I realized it was my friend Miguel. I'd never been so happy to see someone. Miguel seemed relieved to see me too, and he said, "Dude, where is everyone? I've been walking in circles for 20 minutes. I told him I had no idea and that I was lost too. So now that I had another person with me, I felt comfortable trying to find everyone else. But that's when we heard it. A scream from the depths of the forest. And not a, I just walked into a spiderweb scream. No, this was a scream of pure terror. Miguel and I instantly froze, staring at each other. Just like the night at his parents' house, I once again probably wet myself. Then it happened again. Another scream, louder this time. The sound bounced off the trees, coming from deeper in the woods. "What was that?" Miguel said. We didn't know what to do. Return to the cabin? Which direction was that? Everything blended into endless trees and darkness. Try finding our possibly in trouble friends? My heart was now pounding, but we made a decision. We needed to find our friends, and we didn't know how to get back to the cabin anyway, so we would go towards the screams. Although we both agreed, if anything goes south, it's every man for himself. There was one more scream that happened right after this, which was the loudest of them all, so that guided us in the right direction. All those stories about what lurks in the darkness at night crept into my mind. Because it could have been anything. A crazy person. A bear. Guy Fieri. After going towards the screams for a couple minutes, my flashlight started to flicker. So I knew we didn't have long to figure out what was happening before I completely went dark. Now it wasn't just a worry about whatever was screaming in the darkness. It was a race against time. Dude, I think we should go back. I started to think that was the rational thing to do too. The only problem was, which direction was back? The trees all looked identical. Massive pines watching over us like giants. Watching two stupid kids who were about to come a precautionary tale for the next year's students. So we figured our best bet was to keep following the screams, because we knew that at least wherever they were coming from, there must have been people over there. The woods transformed into an endless maze, each path looking deceptively familiar, yet at the same time, completely foreign. It was so damn bad, I tried using the science lesson they taught us earlier about using the location of the moon to know where you're going. The only problem was, I didn't pay no attention during that presentation, so we just kept heading towards the screams. My decision to go commando and wear nothing but a t-shirt and basketball shorts to bed was now backfiring, because I was freezing. Then a scream echoed again, bouncing in between the trees, sounding like someone was in pure danger. But this time, the scream sounded a lot closer, which was both encouraging and terrifying. Maybe it's a mountain lion. My cousin's neighbor got attacked by one last year in Colorado, Miguel said, because apparently what I needed to imagine was a predator stalking us. I don't know how he possibly could have thought that would reassure me or make the situation better, but it didn't, because one, that definitely sounded like a human scream, and two, if it is a mountain lion, we're cooked. And three,